Well, 2020's been a funny old year, but so far as Nintendo's concerned, it's actually been a rather good one. The Switch has sold like gangbusters, there's been a fairly solid stream of great games released for the console, and Nintendo are well poised as the next generation of gaming arrives as we head into 2021. Greetings everyone, Phil here from Nintendo Village. Thank you very much for joining us for our Nintendo 2020 Year in Review video. I hope you enjoy it. In fact, I hope you enjoy it so much that you feel like giving that like and subscribe button a tickle and joining our cool little community here. Without further ado, let's get into it. We'll get into the nitty gritty in a second, but no matter which way you slice it, Nintendo have had a rather successful 2020. Despite officially ending production of the very successful 3DS back in September, Nintendo have recorded bumper sales this year. The Switch has been the best-selling console in North America for 24 months straight now, a fact which has helped the system surpass 68 million units worldwide, making it Nintendo's second biggest selling home console after the Wii, and their 6th best-selling system ever. Those impressive hardware sales are buoyed by the fact that attach rates are also really strong, with Switch players owning more than 6 games each on average. Nearly half of all Switch owners also own a copy of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Animal Crossing New Horizons is the second biggest selling game on the system at 26 million units sold, despite only being out for 9 months. And the likes of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Pokemon Sword and Shield, and Super Mario Odyssey continue to perform incredibly well. Now, off the top of your head, it might feel like there hasn't been a ton of releases this year, and Nintendo have certainly plugged some gaps with DLC and ports. But that said, they've still managed to keep up their cadence of roughly one big game every month, and given the climate of 2020, that's pretty impressive. Let's run through them. January kicked things off with the arrival of Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and although there was no big Nintendo published game in February, March saw Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, before the arrival of Animal Crossing New Horizons as we headed into April. We then got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition in May, Clubhouse Games in June, and Paper Mario The Origami King in July. September saw the arrival of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, we got both Mario Kart Live and Pikmin 3 Deluxe in October, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity in November, and the original Fire Emblem game in December. Okay, so not the strongest end to the year, and you could say that it's only really Animal Crossing out of that lot that's a system seller. But bearing in mind the climate at the minute, that's some impressive output. And that doesn't take into account the third-party releases such as Doom Eternal, Outer Worlds, the 2K collections, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Minecraft Dungeons, Streets of Rage 4, Wonderful 101, and a host of incredible indies that have consistently peppered the system throughout 2020. Throw in DLC for Pokemon, Fire Emblem and Smash Bros, not to mention updates for Super Mario Maker and of course Animal Crossing, and it's no wonder so many of us have got massive backlogs to try and clear over the holidays. So yeah, all things considered, it's been a pretty impressive release slate for Switch this year. I'm going to be talking about some of my personal favourites in next week's video, so make sure you come back for that in case there's a few gems that you might have missed. Moving on from games we got to games we're getting, and despite the infamous Nintendo Direct drought, there were actually a few pretty hype announcements that we got as we move into 2021. Probably the most exciting announcement was the news of a new Pokemon Snap. That's not to say it's the most anticipated Switch game, but we already knew about the likes of Zelda and Metroid, so this was a great surprise earlier in the year. Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2 are both massive announcements as well, and I know the Monster Hunter community are hyped as all hell to get their hands on those. Plus, it looks like Nintendo's first major release next year will be the sublime Super Mario 3D World. It's also worth remembering that the likes of Paper Mario, 3D All-Stars, Pikmin 3 Deluxe and Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity were all announced and released this year, so it's actually been, again, a pretty solid year for hype. And that doesn't include the additions to the Smash roster. Frankly, even though Min Min is my personal favourite addition of the three, Steve's inclusion is huge, and the fact Sephiroth has not only made it in, but did so without even a sniff of a hint of a rumour, made it all the more amazing. Again, I'm going to have another video up on New Year's Day about what we can expect from Nintendo in 2021, but given how Nintendo have functioned this year, I'm not overly concerned that there's no massive announcements coming down the track yet. Nintendo have seemed to pivot towards a much shorter time frame between announcement and release this year, and I can imagine that that's something they're going to continue moving forward. Games aside though, there's been a number of other talking points this year that we should rattle through. Nintendo are making good on their commitment to expose more people to its brands and IP, with plenty of collaborations, not least the excellent LEGO sets and upcoming Super Nintendo World attraction. Unfortunately, they have annoyed a number of their existing fans this year too. The heavy-handedness with which they've been protecting their copyright is understandable, if not particularly great from a PR perspective. Shutting down tournaments using modded versions of Smash Bros. Melee is one thing, but slapping a guy selling custom Joy-Con to raise money for charity in memory of a prominent and much-loved community member with a cease and desist just comes off as petty. It's sad to see so much Nintendo music having to be pulled too, but maybe we'll get lucky and they'll give us a legal way to listen to those soundtracks sometime before the year 2200. Oh, and Joy-Con drift is still an ongoing issue. It's really poor that they haven't sorted that yet. All of that said, I want to wrap up on a more positive note, and I think the biggest win for Nintendo this year has been Animal Crossing, and I don't just mean in terms of sales either. Launching just as we all locked down, it became this cultural touch point where everyone from non-gamers to hardcore enthusiasts, celebrities and lifelong Nintendo fans found some respite from what was going on in the world. It allowed people to hang out and keep in touch, and was basically just a lovely slice of wholesome when we needed it most. It cemented the series as a key tentpole franchise for Nintendo, and frankly, gave them more positive PR than any new Mario or Zelda game could even manage. All in all, considering the context in which it's taken place, I think Nintendo has had an incredible year. Sure, Animal Crossing aside, there hasn't been any kind of massive, hype-inducing, really exciting announcements or releases, but considering everything that's been going on, they've still managed to have a consistent release schedule for Switch, creating great games, and frankly, I'm looking forward to what they've got in store for 2021. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this quick look back at Nintendo's 2020. Let me know down in the comments what your highlights have been, and I do hope that you'll hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel as we have new videos going up every single week. Don't forget to check out thenintendovillage.com for more Nintendo news, reviews, features, podcasts, and all that cool stuff. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you all next time.